The windows smashed, the walls and the floor shook, and the fairy tried desperately to escape. She barely made it out the seat without her fragile body breaking. The boy thrashed his toys into the fairy's small wooden house. Inside the fairy's house, the table was set for morning tea. But then, all over the floor, she saw broken glass that injured her knee and was already swelling. "How dare you break my house?"
So what? It's not my fault your stupid house was in the way of me and my T-Rex.
Halo the fairy was furious at the little boy and decided to start planning her wicked idea. "I'm going to teach him what it's like to be a little fairy." Halo pulled out her brown wand with a yellow star on the top and pointed it at the boy. With a flick of her wrist, her magic wand begins to glow bright. The boy looks around and starts to think everything around him is growing bigger and bigger.
What's happening? Everything is getting bigger and my voice is getting higher.
Everything is not getting bigger, you are just getting smaller. Now you can see what it's like to be me. But it's easier to be this small when you have nothing trying to destroy you. With a flick of her wrist, Halo's wand started to glow again. And this time the boy's favourite toy T-Rex starts to move. It let out a strong roar that echoed through the neighbourhood.
Roar, what a tasty little boy.
Everything seemed huge, and as people walked by, it felt like an earthquake was underneath him. The boy ran with all his might to escape the dinosaur. He eventually found a piece of paper his sister had dropped. He hid underneath it and waited for the dinosaur to move away from it.
I wonder where he went.
What's that shaking? It can't be the dinosaur.
He moved in the other direction. The boy turned around and saw his giant sister bouncing a bright pink ball. Every time it hit the floor, it shook violently. As he was watching the ball bounce, he saw the ball come closer and closer towards him.
Ah, it's coming towards me. I can run behind the bins.
As the boy came out from behind the bins, he saw the dinosaur's sharp, wicked teeth. He went straight back behind the bin.
Come out, wherever you are.
The boy sprinted out from the other side of the bin. The dinosaur's loud footsteps followed behind him. As the boy ran, he saw the fairy standing in front of him. He could still hear the dinosaur behind him. As he was running, he tripped over a rock and bumped the fairy. The fairy dropped her wand and it fell onto the floor. The boy and the fairy both rushed for the wand.
I need that wand before the fairy.
The boy dived onto the floor to grab the wand, and it felt like everything was happening in slow motion. "No, my wand!" Halo the fairy also dove for the wand, reaching out as far as she could, as if it was the most important thing in the world. They both collided mid-air, arms stretched out, but it was far too late for Halo. The boy had snatched the wand up and was standing with it in his hand.
How do I make this thing work? Make me larger, make me larger.
The boy shook the wand with all his might until it started to glow, and then all of a sudden, as quickly as he had become small, he grew and grew until he stopped at his normal size and snapped up the fairy in his hand. "Let me go! Let me go!" The boy pointed the wand at his dinosaur and made it stop. As the green glow hit the dinosaur, it fell on the floor and made a click as it hit the floor. The fairy starts to cry, tears rolling down her cheeks as she shakes her fist at the boy, now so much bigger than her again. "I only did this because I always been so lonely and a tiny person, but it was just so hard to be this all the time."
Well, maybe I can make you human-sized so you don't feel as small and you can not be trodden on, but respected.
The boy now with the teeny tiny one between his 2 fingers and waves it at her until she starts to grow and grow and grow. Halo, now standing at the size of the regular girl, has a big bright smile on her face. By the end of it all, things turn out to be pretty different for both of them. Just not in the way anyone expected. Halo finally said that how she felt instead of just getting upset, and the boy actually stopped for a second and listened, which, let's be honest, was a big improvement. Once they started paying attention to each other instead of arguing, everything got way easier, and helping out people didn't seem like a big deal anymore. Turns out kind words worked way better than magic tricks. And somehow, after all that chaos, they ended up being the most best of friends, even if they argue about silly little things like using the wand. This podcast was produced by Olivia, Harrison and Ardi from St. Monica's Parish School, who are with Ardi Radio and Podcasting. There's a link in the show notes for all the great podcasts our school has produced this year and in previous years too.
Bye!